the founder of Mahavir Foundation, which promotes peace, brotherhood, and Lord Mahavir's principles nationwide. He has received the Dwar Award from the British Parliament for his impactful work. We welcome Suhail from the Ahmadiyya community. He is a preacher of the Ahmadiyya Muslim community with extensive experience in promoting interfaith harmony and discord in a single year across continents. We've had, at least in Mumbai, 2 elections of our own. We've had elections. Is to really focus on the message of life in the family. And so maybe from your own particular faith tradition, and an opening round of about 2 minutes each, just to give us, some essence of your faith tradition.
Human soul is the integral part of God. It is said that Atma is Stri and Paramatma is Parish. And then when we talk of the family, it is very clearly said. I think I'll quote a verse over here from Sri Guru Granth Sahib Ji, which says, "Tu mera pita, tu hai mera mata, tu mera bandhak, tu mera prata, tu mera rakha sabni thai, tam ho gaya kara jiyo." Oh God, I am fulfilled by you from all my sides. You are my father, you are my mother, you are my brother, you are my savior, you are in me, and at the end I submit to you. Now what can we say more than this? God in Sikh family is inseparable. Only thing is that we need to realize it. As smell or the aroma is present in the soil, but after a process of getting warm, but getting hot in the sun, and then when the water is poured on that, we realize that. So it is a long procedure that you have to enchant the name of Lord. You have to find the Lord's presence in the entire family, which is called global family. Because it is very clearly said, "Tu Sanja Sahib Bab Hamara." If the Lord is Sanja, and He is the only Father of all of us, then we see no man are different from us. And when we realize that entire world is our family, the difference of a small individual family vanishes and we feel the entire world as a God. And this is what is the perception in Sikhism. Only realization. And how can you realize? It is not only just enchanting the name, Baap Hamara, and when we feel it, when we say it, to Kise Nadi Se Bara Jiyo. You are not alienated to anyone in the world. If His presence in the world, entire world is my family and God is my common Father. Vaheguru Ji Ka Khalsa, Vaheguru Ji Ki Fateh.
Thank you very much.
Each of us to get married. And so Prophet has actually said we need to marry, we need to multiply, we need to perpetuate the human race. So it is incumbent on people to get married, including the priest. In fact, celibacy is frowned upon. Now that's a religious perspective, but as a psychotherapist, and I mainly specialize in couples therapy. So even with the bitterest of divorces, you may divorce, a husband and wife may be divorced, but you can't divorce your kid. And I see loads of people now coming into the clinic because they want to make co-parenting harmonious. So I have blended families who will pull out chairs from the waiting room and they sit all crowded and there'll be half brothers and step kids and step siblings, but they're all trying to make it work. Like the kids put on this lovely show and they said, I think the theme of Christmas should be where the family focuses on what's going right rather than what's going wrong.
Thank you very much, Naka. Swamiji?
At the outset, my love and namaskars to all the respected religious leaders and the Archbishop here. And thank you very much for having us here in this beautiful evening where we already celebrated this Christmas with beautiful skit and carols. Ramakrishna Mission basically presents Hinduism, Sanatana Dharma, that eternal religion which has been the greatest teacher for the human mankind to lead a wonderful life. What we understand welcoming God in our family, Deva Bhutva Devan Ejet. If you want to really worship God, you should become God yourself. How to do that? By acquiring all those qualities by manifesting the divine qualities in you. In Bhagavad Gita 16th chapter, we go and read Sattvam Samshuddhi Dhyana Yoga Vyavasthitihi Danam Damascha Yajnascha Swadhyaya Tapa Arjavam Ahimsa Satyam Akrodha Tyagaha Shanti Apaishunam Daya Bhuteshu Aloluptvam Mahardavam Rira Chaplam Tejah Kshama Dhriti Shaucham Adroha Na Atimanita Bhavanti Sampadam Daivim Abhijatasya Bharata. These are the qualities, divine qualities one should acquire so that God will come and reside in our hearts. We very well know God is everywhere. ऐसा कोई जगह नहीं है जहाँ भगवान है, क्योंकि भगवान का ही सब कुछ है. भगवान के बिना कुछ है ही नहीं. God, Jesus, Buddha, Allah, Mahavir, whatever name we may name, or energy which can be neither created nor destroyed, it's always there. To feel that, you have to connect yourself to that real self. शरीर आत्मा, शरीर मन को आत्मा से जोड़ना ही योग है, योग ही अध्यात्म है. So, by practicing the spiritual practices, we have to make our hearts pure so that we become a great place for the God to reside. So these are the few divine qualities. Sattvam, we should be pure in heart, we should be having that right knowledge, we should be practicing yoga, we should be doing charity, dhamma, yajna, sacrifice, swadhyaya, studying our own scriptures, and leading a good life, ahimsa, satyam, speaking the truth. All the moral values, all the great teachers has been always teaching. So we have to listen to that, shravanam, think over it, reflect, mananam, then you can experience for yourself. So Devan Bhutva, Deva Bhutva, Devanija. Become a God, to worship God, to honor God, so that God resides in our heart. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Swamiji.
Find in the family life and the other social life also, the rights are, you are told about your duties, how you should treat your wife. The best person among you is who treats his wife in the best way. Because to come in a program and to talk few good things is very easy, but to live and make your partner happy is a very difficult thing. So if somebody succeeds in that, and then there are rights of parents. The biggest right is for mother, and after 3 stages comes the father. Then there are rights of children, and even in children the daughter is more stressed upon. Her rights are more stressed upon because generally people ignore it. And it is said that if somebody takes care of the daughter as the son, then the paradise is guaranteed for him or the parents, both him and her. So this is how a family is being groomed, and then if you have a good family, a happy family, you can imagine to have a good and happy society. If the family is in chaos, everybody is disturbed, everybody is angry, then these people will go into the society and take those same things in that. So to preserve the values in family is very important to have a better society. Thank you.
Thank you, Salimji. ओम नमः। मंच पर उपस्थित हमारे सभी धर्म के लीडर्स और मेरे सामने बैठे सभी सम्माननीय श्रोतागण, आज हम जिस उद्देश्य के साथ में यहाँ पर बैठे हुए हैं और ये कार्यक्रम जो हो रहा है, निश्चित तौर पर हम सभी का ये मानना है कि जीवन में अगर शांति चाहते हैं तो हम सबको जो हमारे ईश्वर हैं, जिनकी हमारी आस्था है, अगर हम उनके बताए हुए रास्ते पर चलते हैं तो निश्चित मान के चलिए कि हमारे जीवन में सिर्फ शांति नहीं बल्कि जीवन जीते जी स्वर्ग सा बन जाता है। लेकिन हम धर्म के पथ पे चलना केवल पूजा अर्चना करना नहीं, बल्कि यह भी मार्ग है जो हमें आत्मा की गहराइयों तक ले जाता है जहाँ हमें सच्ची शांति और आनंद की प्राप्ति होती है। सिर्फ कर्मकांड में उलझे रहना, उसके साथ में जब तक हम अपने और ईश्वर के प्रति अपनी भावनाएं और अपने आप को समर्पित नहीं करते हैं, तब तक हम मानते हैं कि जीवन में जो विशुद्धि, जो ऊंचाई जो हमें चाहिए वो मिलना मुश्किल होती है। हम समर्पण और धैर्य के बिना यह मार्ग आसान नहीं होता है, लेकिन यह मार्ग है जो आत्मा को अनंत सुख और परम शांति तक पहुंचाता है। धर्म का पथ मात्र पूजा और कर्मकांडों से नहीं, बल्कि सच्ची और आत्म निरीक्षण और आचरण की विशुद्धि से आगे बढ़ा जा सकता है। और मैं यही बात कहना चाहूँगा कि दिलों में प्रेम का दीपक जले ये आस रखता हूँ, दिलों में प्रेम का दीपक जले ये आस रखता हूँ, सभी खुशहाल हों ये विश्वास रखता हूँ। हमारा धर्म है हम भी जिएं औरों को जीने दें, हम भी जिएं औरों को जीने दें, यही सद्भावना हमेशा अपने दिल के पास रखता हूँ, यही सद्भावना अपने दिलों के पास रखता हूँ। इन्हीं भावनाओं के साथ में ओम नमः।
धन्यवाद स्वामी जी। Deacon Naveen, from the Christian faith tradition.
So for us in the Christian faith, the family flows from the husband and wife marriage. But for us in the Christian faith, marriage is a sacrament. Sacrament meaning we believe that it's not just a man and a woman, but it's Jesus himself who's present. And so therefore it's the real presence of Jesus. It's three of them involved: man, woman, and Jesus in a marriage. It's from here that also we believe that man and woman therefore are commissioned by God to be co-creators. So God created, but here through the instruments, man and woman, through the sacrament of marriage, He creates. And so therefore we have our families. And talking about welcoming Christ into our families, therefore, during Christmas, the circumstances under which Jesus was born reminds us in our families where Jesus is present about the circumstances in our very own families. And we are called therefore to understand how frail we are. And in our families, just as Jesus, Mary and Joseph, they went through a struggle to grow up into a holy family, every family will go through a struggle. And it is over there that we look around and we see how much dependent we require to be on God. Because how many times we have seen a husband and a wife get married and we think everything will be all right, but there's a tragedy, there's an accident, somebody dies, a child is born, has cancer, there are financial difficulties, and then we see all those hopes and aspirations which they had on their wedding day are destroyed. How many families are struggling? And so therefore we are constantly reminded in our Christian faith to understand the frailty of our families and how we require therefore to depend on God, make Jesus the present and the most important person in our families. And having said that, therefore we translate this by the way Jesus would have addressed it, and that is by looking after the weakest members of the society and of our families rather. And so therefore it's the people who require us the most, the weaker ones, the ones who are unintelligent, the ones who are maybe the most mischievous, the ones who are going wayward. We require to reach out to them and bring them back into the family. And we teach them family values in the sense meaning respect of elders, the respect of the extended family. It's through this that we believe that the family then will be instruments of society. The same compassion which they showed to others, which they receive in the family, is what they will show in society to others and which they will receive from others.
Thank you, Naveen. Let's give them a round of applause for that really rich insights from their experience, from their journey of their
solution. I would rather say that there are three major points in my point of view, which is the major one is the first one is the decline in morality and the social media misinformation and more incline in materialistic living. So three of them are major threat to the family values now. Because there are many liberalist thoughts going on the name of freedom. They are leading the youth into the bad manner or the vulgarity or something else which take them from spirituality. So anything which take the person or the youngster from spirituality or faith or a godless philosophy is going to be a really threat for the family and the society. And you know, the social media, how it is used. It can be used for both the peace and it can also be used for boiling the blood. Nowadays, many hatredness are spread more than the love. So we need to address it. So the decorum which we are here, such kind of discussion should be promoted for that. And the materialistic need. This is because the people are going away from the God. They have to be addressed, because the only solution which I see is, see, now the time it is, before it was the time that we used to believe what our parents passed to us. But now it's not the time. You just ask the youngsters. They are asking why for everything. So head of our community, Hazrat Mirza Masroor Ahmad, he said to one parent that if a person is, if a boy is asking why should I do the daily prayers, you should logically fulfill them and rationally understand them what is the need of prayers. And if someone is asking where do God exist, in science there is not such a thing. Scientifically you are obliged to make them understand that there is a creator, there is a designer. And there are many questions. One of the major questions is, why do we need God to be good? So we have to rationally make them understand the need of God, and the source of morality is from the faith. So like that, addressing the question and frequent discussion time by time, we can save the future.
थैंक यू सो मच. इतने का उससे ज़्यादा ग्रैब करने का सोच रहे हैं. सो फिजिकल बीमारी बढ़ रहा है क्योंकि हम लाइफस्टाइल का केयर नहीं ले रहे हैं. उसी तरह मन की तरफ ध्यान नहीं दे रहे हैं, इसलिए मानसिक तनाव बढ़ रहा है. इस दोनों के बीच में जो बीमारी है उसको अगर हम इंग्लिश में मेडिकल टर्म में बोले, इन्फ्लेमेशन. इन्फ्लेमेशन इज द रूट कॉज फॉर ऑल द लाइफस्टाइल डिसीज दैट वी आर ऑल फेसिंग, व्हिच इज एट एन इंक्रीजिंग ट्रेंड. तो अगर मेरे को पूछा जाए आपका सबसे बड़ा वरी क्या है, आई एम वरीड दैट दिस हेल्थ सिस्टम व्हाटएवर वी आर प्रोवाइडिंग will be collapsed in the next 10 years. क्योंकि लाइफस्टाइल बीमारी का सोल्यूशन न निकाल के हम बोल रहे हैं आके हमारे पास मिलो, हम आपका बीमारी ठीक कर दे रहे हैं. इट्स नॉट हैपनिंग. सो डिसीज आर इंक्रीजिंग. तो उसी तरह का अगर हम सोचे मन की बीमारी भी तो बढ़ रही है, तो व्हाट इज द सॉल्यूशन? हैव द राइट थिंकिंग. ये जो बीमारी है इसके बारे में जब तक ज्ञान नहीं मिलेगा, as long as the right knowledge is not given to the person, we call it as disease self-management education plus yoga as way of life. योग जीवन पद्धति अपनाना है, बीमारी को समझाना है. So holistic wellness is the future when it comes to medicine. Similarly, holistic medicine is the solution that challenges that we are facing. हम नेचर से दूर हो रहे हैं, अपने परिवार के साथ रह रहे हैं, लेकिन परिवार के सदस्य के साथ जुड़े नहीं हैं. As it was well said, coming together, staying together, working together. It happens step by step. So similarly, so when we can connect ourselves, body, mind, connecting to the soul. If I am well connected with myself, then only I can connect to my family members, I can connect to my society, my nation, and at the international level. Vasudhaiva Kutumbakam. So connect with yourself, connect with your family, connect with the nature, adopt all the right habits for living a healthy life by being away from all the bad habits. So education, education, education is the panacea for all the problems, challenges that we are facing today.
Thank you very much, Swamiji. Thank you.
And for hope, I will give you another example. If you are interested in social media, the video which is seen more than PM Modi is Atul Subhash Modi. He was now, no more he is. He was 34 years ex-IITian working in artificial intelligence. And he committed suicide. He wrote a long 22 pages suicide note, and he made a video also for 1 hour and 20 minutes. The reason for his suicide was not education. IIT is supposed to be the best institution in the country. Neither the money or any other matter. He married in 2019. He had a child, and now that child is 4 years orphan. And the wife and the husband, they decided not to stay together. But for 4 years they could not get divorced. They went to family court told that, and that the girl, that wife, she asked for 1 crore settlement. And after going to family court, she was so much encouraged that she increased it to 3 crores. And the judge, who is again a lady, she said that you give me 5 lakhs, I can bring her down and then you can have a lesser one. For 3 years she did not allow the child to see his father. And when he insisted, she said that you have to pay 30 lakhs. And for the maintenance of this child, you have to pay 40,000 or 80,000. And then she made the complaints, 9 FIRs. This man is in Bangalore. He came 40 times to Jaunpur just to attend the court. So this is the family issue, and the wife herself is working in a multinational. She is very highly qualified lady. So what you can understand what spoils the family.
So that was an excellent example.
And it's the greed to have more and more and more, and to have hate and to try to punish somebody. So my thinking is that this materialistic approach without the soul is the biggest challenge for the family today. Now, for hope, I will give you another example. There was a fire before 2 weeks in Jhansi hospital. Poor people, government hospital, staying outside, children are inside ICU, the fire caught. And a person named Yaqub Ansari was sitting out, and as soon as he saw this, he broke the window and jumped into ICU, because his child was inside. He could not save his child, but he saved at least 10 child. So this is the love for your child, the love for the child of everybody, the love for humanity, and putting yourself into risk and trying to save the society. And he is a poor vendor. I don't say all poor are good and all rich people and qualified people are bad. But when we were small, we used to always say that all these problems are because no education, people are poor. Last thing I want to tell in 1 minute, that I was, after this suicide thing, I was going through the data NCRB. I found 32% the reason for suicide is the family issue. And that excluded marriage and love. That makes 10. So 40% people are going for suicide due to this. And all others are only 58%. So you can understand that if the family is not intact, is not in a good condition, then people, they don't want to live in this world, they go to the extent of committing the suicide. So this is a very big challenge and we have to address it.
Thank you, Salim ji. Thank you very much. And आशा की क्या है?
आज सबसे बड़ी बात यह है कि हर आदमी के मन में 24 घंटे कुछ ना कुछ मन में चलता रहता है। और आज जैसे सर ने बताया कि अभी सबसे बड़ा उदाहरण है हमारे बीच में कि इतना एजुकेटेड होने के बावजूद भी, तो अगर जिसके मन में ये ख्याल आते हैं कि मुझे अपना जीवन अब लगता है कि कोई सॉल्यूशन नहीं है, और इतना पूरी तरह से त्रस्त हो जाता है
तो एक जैन धर्म में एक सूत्र आता है, जैन जो भगवान महावीर जो हैं जैन धर्म के 24वें तीर्थंकर, उन्होंने कहा है कि अनेकांत और स्याद्वाद जो जैन धर्म का मूल सिद्धांत है और जैन धर्म का पूरा बेस इन्हीं सिद्धांतों पर टिका हुआ है। अनेकांत और स्याद्वाद मतलब कि जो ये हमें सिखाता है कि जो आप एक वस्तु को अपने दृष्टिकोण से देख रहे हैं और उसे ही सही मानते हैं और दूसरा व्यक्ति उसे अपने दृष्टिकोण से देखता है और उसे सही मानता है। आप अपनी जगह सही हैं और सामने वाला जो देख रहा है वह भी अपनी जगह सही है। एक छोटा सा उदाहरण मैं यहाँ पर देना चाहता हूँ कि आप हथेली पर इंग्लिश में अगर 6 लिखते हैं और दिखाई 6 लिख रहे हैं, मुझे यहाँ से 9 दिखाई दे रहा है, लेकिन जो लिखा है वह सत्य है और ना आप अपनी जगह आप सही हैं और सामने वाला अपनी जगह सही है। ये दृष्टिकोण जो है अगर हम थोड़ा सा अगर परिवर्तन कर लें, जो सामने वाला है उसका क्या रीजन है और हमारा क्या रीजन है। अभी जैसे हमारे स्वामी दयादीपानंद जी ने कहा ना कि मेडिटेशन, योग, ये जो चीज़ें हम धीरे धीरे समाज में, परिवार में, अपनी दैनिक दिनचर्या के जीवन में जो भूलते जा रहे हैं और आलस इतना हावी हो गया है कि हम जो हमें गर्क में डालने वाली चीज़ें होती हैं उनको तो हम एक्सेप्ट कर लेते हैं, लेकिन जो अच्छी चीज़ें होती हैं जो हमारी हेल्थ को, हमारे जीवन को और हमारे विजन को जो परफेक्ट बनाएं, उनसे हम कहीं ना कहीं दूर होते जाते हैं और उसका परिणाम ये निकलता है कि परिवार में एक दरार, एक दूसरे से भेदभाव, एक दूसरे का मनमुटाव, एक दूसरे की बात नहीं सुनना, चिल्लाना आदि आदि करना। ये सब क्यों होता है? क्योंकि आपने जो चीज़ें एक्सेप्ट करनी थी वो नहीं की और आपको जो एक्सेप्ट करनी थी वो आप उसको एक्सेप्ट नहीं करना पड़ता, वो तो एक्सेप्ट इजीली हो रही है।
थैंक यू वेरी मच। देवेंद्र जी, थैंक यू। The दृष्टिकोण, for those who are not familiar, is talking about the perspective that each one has. You write the number 6, but the person seeing it sees the number 9. So each one is right from their perspective, and that could be conflict situations. Naveen ji?
So in 1965, during Vatican Council II, Pope Paul VI had said that the greatest threat that humanity faces is materialism and consumerism. And after that, now 60 years have passed by, and successive popes, including Pope Francis today, still says the same thing, materialism and consumerism. And so even if you look at the way our families have evolved, right from the time of marriage, the type of marriages we have, the bride wants to outshine everybody else, she wants to have the best husband, they want to have the best reception, and so also when it comes to their home, they want to have a better car than anyone. So this materialism and this consumerism, in order for me to get fulfillment out of it, I require to be better than someone else, so it leads to competition. And I think so this competition is bringing out misunderstanding in the families. We tend to disrespect one another. I feel that my husband or my wife doesn't match up to the husband and a wife in my office or so and so. It translates to the children. We want our children to be better than the others. You should come score more marks. So competition is coming in, and then the children learn that as well. So I really do believe that, for example, many children don't like their parents because they don't get the facilities which at class, one school, other children get from their parents. They get foreign tours, they get better motorcycles, better shoes, and you, daddy, mummy, are not giving me that. So this competition, I think, is bringing out a lot of discord within family. One of the reasons. All your answers are also true. This is another aspect of it. And so I believe the solution to this could always be humility. If to learn to be content with what one has. And so therefore, in a home, if we can appreciate one another's strengths and affirm one another, so a husband looks at the good, we have a scripture verse, 1 Thessalonians 5:17, says, in everything give thanks. So if we can really be thankful to God for my husband, for my wife, for my children, affirm it, say it to them, make them feel fulfilled, let them not depend on materialism to feel fulfilled, to feel accepted. And in the same way, I think so we must teach our children the same thing, to be contented. And how does this happen? I think so through outreach. Many colleges today, though they are doing IIT, engineering and all those things, they yet have to go to orphanages and all that to see the reality of suffering of the existence. What is the reality in the world outside, so that you appreciate your position. You don't look at others and say, I'm deprived, but rather you look at someone down and you say, I'm privileged. And so therefore I think so the solution would be teach humility to our children, be simple, teach them to be respectful, you yourself be respectful, and let us therefore in that way not compete with one another and depend on materialism to get self-worth and affirmation.
Thank you, Navinji. You ended exactly when my alarm went off. The time of this panel is so unfortunate in our lives, in our families. And that word family, F-A-M-I-L-Y, as you were sharing, I was noting down this F for faith-based families, A for the Atma, that each one of you talked about.
Force this conviction.
In Northern Africa, to please work for peace, strive for peace, and yet nothing much happens at the ground level. The Feast of Christmas should be the Feast of Peace. When Jesus was born, the angels sang, "Glory to God in the highest, and peace to all men of goodwill." Peace to all men of goodwill. The presence of Jesus was to bring peace into the world, harmony into the world, to make the whole world one family. And this is what we have got to work for. This is what we are called to work for. Peace comes not just the absence of war, absence of hostility. Peace is more than the absence of hostility and absence of conflict. Peace is harmonious relationship, harmonious living together. I shared, unfortunately, I want to say openly, damaged too much, but it is not increasing, not maintaining. I mentioned this to people in political situations also, but this is not a service for the country. And therefore, we had a meeting in Bangkok where we had called about 200 religious leaders, Christian leaders mainly, but also other religions. And what are the challenges of the world? What are the challenges that we have? One of the challenges came, bridge builders become bridges ourselves. And the example was of Jesus, who was a bridge builder, but became a bridge builder. I think Jesus taught us what is peace, selflessness, concern for the other, self-sacrifice, not self-centeredness. The Feast of Christmas brings joy. That's why we celebrate it. All over the world there are lights and there are decorations. Even I was in Vietnam once, Christmas week, and the government, it's not a Christian government, it's a communist regime. But the whole of Ho Chi Minh City was lit up with lights. It's a feast which everybody, it's an international feast, meaning joy. The joy will come only if there's peace, and peace will come if there is joy and harmony. I would like to end with this message that we've got ourselves also, I think that's the message of Christmas feast, to become agents of peace ourselves. Receiving Jesus in our hearts, receiving God in our hearts, we give God to others. Receive peace in our hearts, we give peace to others. This will result in united families, in bringing joy to families, success to families, and progress in the nation. Happy Christmas to each one of you. Thank you for having come. Very especially, thank you to each of the families. Really, you spoke very insightfully and gave me a lot to think about this Christmas. God bless you. Thank you. Thank you.